I felt like I needed to make this video now because my indoor wine caps are getting so big they are starting to actually fall over. I made a video a couple days ago talking about how I was trying to cultivate wine cap mushrooms indoors because I looked on YouTube and I could not find a video from start to finish that actually showed people having success. Most videos showed people inoculating substrate, but they never showed a results video with mushrooms. I think they probably failed. I also went to a lot of the mushroom forums online and started looking around to see if people have done this before. And I only found one post where a guy had maybe 2 or 3 small ones come up. And a lot of heated debate fired up about growing these things inside because people believe that they need to form a relationship with the roots of plants. And that's why in my previous video, I actually asked and see if anyone had any ideas. I said I was going to try putting a bunch of ice cubes around this thing to make a weather change simulation to see if that would help them flush. Then we were going to try warm to make them flush. But before anybody could respond, I started getting some pins. So that was pretty exciting. After the pins formed, they grew really fast. So from pins to this side, we're talking maybe 5 days or so. Before I explain what I did here to grow these mushrooms, let's take a look at what we got going on inside here. I'm getting more mushrooms coming up by the day. We have some of these larger ones here that are falling over. Let's actually pick this guy here. Look at that. That is a beast of a mushroom. These ones here are actually getting to the point where they're almost not going to be edible anymore. Once they start getting that black and purple on the gills, it actually looks like we're starting to drop some spores here. But eating these things was not as important to me as having a successful experiment and successfully growing these inside. I've never had these before, and I guess you can eat them raw. So let's pick this little guy right here. He's more of an edible size. And let's give her a shot. That's actually pretty good. Got a few more mondos over here. Some smaller ones. We got some growing up the side. Lots of mushrooms going on in this relatively small tub here. So what I did here was I took this clear plastic tub, maybe about 2 foot or so across. I did not put any drainage holes in this. No drainage. I took my tub, I went out to my wooded area outdoors. I found an area where the grass meets the woods, kind of similar to where these mushrooms are growing in the wild. I took some of that soil and I filled 2 inches of this tub with that soil. Now I believe that is a very important part for this. Most people growing mushrooms get really hung up with sterilization and pasteurization, but the wine caps do not like any of that. With these guys, you're actually going to hurt yourself doing that. Layer number 2, I took some moldy alfalfa hay that's been sitting outside in my driveway for the past year, mixed that with some wood chips that were already coated with fungi that have been composting in my driveway, mixed in a little bit of unfinished chicken compost from the chicken run with a little finished compost, and then I topped it off with about 1 inch of the same soil I used on the bottom. It's like a dirty sandwich. When I was layering this, I put a little bit of sawdust spawn in with the outdoor soil, put a little bit inside here with this middle layer here with the moldy alfalfa hay, and then a little bit on top. In the end, I used maybe 2 handfuls of spawn, and this was just leftover spawn I had from inoculating my garden. This whole process took about a month and a half to get where we are now. It didn't take too long for these mushrooms to start colonizing this middle layer, and then you started to see them send these little fungi trails down to the bottom to the soil layer. And these soil layers weren't colonizing as fast as I thought they would, so I didn't know if this is going to be good or not. But once they started going down, they also started filling the top layer. When they filled the top layer, we started getting this stringy mess that kind of coated the top, and I thought for sure I was going to get some pinning action. Well, the pinning action did not come, and this kind of sat on the surface, colonized like this for around a month or so, and I did not have a lot of hopes for my mushrooms. Throughout the process, I was taking a squirt bottle and just moistening the top layer of soil, and eventually I grabbed some leaves from outside to put on here to make sure the moisture stayed inside here. I made sure not to ever get this too wet since we don't have drainage holes. I just wanted a balanced level of moisture in here. There are bugs inside my mushroom tub. That's okay. There's been a couple big night crawlers that like to come and hang out in the surface. I've seen a couple slugs. We've got some other smaller bugs that go through here. They're not bugs that can escape the tub, or at least they don't wanna, because they really like what we've done here with the tub and they call it home. I just want to show you guys some of the exterior colonization that went on. I really like this clear tub because I was able to watch my substrate down here colonize. So you look here at this big guy, it's got this nice fungal system going on. This whole bottom layer. Underneath here, almost completely full of the fungal web. Look how deep this guy is. He's all the way down to that soil layer coming up here. Got this little guy trying to form here. Got this little floater down here. It's kind of far down, wants to get up to the surface. I owe the success here all to the fact that we grew these things naturally. There is stuff in this dirt I dug up from my yard that the wine caps need to survive. To make them flush, we did not need a temperature change. My basement's about 65 degrees or so. Just keeping this substrate moist. That was basically it. At one point, I did start taking some of these leaves out of here to expose some of the bare dirt. And it seems like having the bare dirt exposed helped these things colonize. And then I'm in a basement here with lights on a dimmer. So I kind of just dimmed these lights down a little bit, gave them like 12 hours of light a day once I saw the pinning starting to happen. I don't know if that made these things flush or not. It could have something to do with it. If anyone's got any successful wine cap videos that you've found on the internet involving indoor cultivation, let me know. If not, and you want to grow wine caps indoors year-round, give this method a shot. In my opinion, probably one of the easiest ways to grow mushrooms. Easier than the oysters. As far as future plans for this tub, I think I may add some more substrate to this. I might do another layer of the moldy hay and then stack it the same way. I'll put some garden soil on top of that and see if we can feed these mushrooms and keep getting flushes out of it. I really like the fact that we use barely any spawn in here and we got quite a bit of mushrooms and more coming up. That is efficient. If you got any questions, let's talk in the comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. And thanks for watching.